Neuschwanstein Castle, the fairy tale castle that is made famous by Walt Disney and his inspiration for the castles in Disneyland, is not the only castle worth visiting in Bavaria, Schwangau. Let's take a look. Schwangau is a town in Bavaria that's close to the end of the romantic road. It is famous, as I said, for King Ludwig II's Neuschwanstein Castle, which he built on the ruins of two other castles that he had explored as a child. Now, to visit the castle, you need to go to a ticket office in town, and you can only visit the castle by buying a timed ticket. And you cannot pre-purchase. You can ring and book the day before or a couple of days before, but you cannot pre-book. So it's imperative that you either get there early or even plan to stay overnight. When we visited Schwangau, we were not able to see the two castles in the town. So, what is the second castle, I hear you ask? The second castle is actually Hohenschwangau, and this is where King Ludwig II, as a prince, grew up and spent most of his childhood. The time we got there at lunchtime. We only had time, and they are very honest at the ticket office. We only had time to see one castle the day that we arrived, but thankfully we were staying overnight, so we did have the option of seeing the second castle the next day. We had lunch and we actually walked the 15-minute walk up from the village, which we'll talk about in a little while, up to the castle. From the castle there are amazing views of the Bavarian countryside. You can see why King Ludwig would want to build a castle in this place. Not only does it stand out of its jagged surroundings, but it's amazingly, stunningly beautiful. So what we did was we went up in the mid-afternoon up to Neuschwanstein Castle, and there we had a guided tour. Our timestamp was 2:40 in the afternoon. Inside the castle we were taken on a guided tour that we were not allowed to, unfortunately, take photos inside. One of the highlights of the tour is actually standing out on a balcony where we get to go and look out over one of the valleys, which I will look up the name for. And then we came through. Once we got to the kitchen area and the less public areas, we were allowed to take photos, so here's a few of those. It's an amazing place, well worth the visit. Nestled in the valley between these two castles overlooking or looking down on this village is Schwangau. It is a small village. It's 4 kilometres from the larger town of Füssen, and very easy to get to. There's lots of public parking. You cannot get there directly by train. You can catch a train from Munich to Füssen, and then there is a bus that runs into the village of Schwangau. There are there are restaurants and, as I said, a ticket place, and it is a great place if you want to catch a horse and carriage up to either of the castles. We chose to walk up to Neuschwanstein Castle, and then we caught the horse and carriage down to finish our day before having dinner in the village at one of the restaurants, and that was very nice. As I said, we stayed overnight at a hotel, and our hotel was a little bit out of town that had parking included, which, arriving in the middle of the day, we were very, very excited about. There are large parking areas, but when we arrived it was very full. So be prepared for that. So obviously most people come to Schwangau to visit Neuschwanstein Castle. And fair enough, it's beautiful and there is so much to do. But there are other things. The area around Schwangau is beautiful. It's alpine, it's got great walking trails. You can explore the village of Fusion on your way through, and there is of course the Marienbrück, which is a bridge that is a short walk from the castle. As I said, there is also Hohenschwangau, which is the castle that was built by Ludwig's father in the 1800s and where Ludwig had spent a lot of time with his mother growing up. We got there first thing in the morning, so we actually were in the very first group to go through for the day, and wandering around we had to wait for the gate to open, and then we had about 15-20 minutes just to wander around the outside garden area with nobody there, and that was a really lovely way to start the day. Just take our time getting photos of the scenery, looking out over the countryside. It was absolutely spectacular, so that's worth it if you've got time. Schwangau, keep it on your list. Part of the romantic road, beautiful castles, beautiful surroundings, and very much worth your visit. If you liked what you saw today, why not hit the subscribe button below, hit the bell so you get notified of our weekly uploads. Thanks for watching, and until next time, travel brilliantly. Bye. So quickly, Ludwig was born under suspicious circumstances in 1845. He then ascended to the throne in 1865, where in his short reign he managed to build castles and become preoccupied with them, suffered defeats, and in 1886 he was found dead in Lake Stein near his house. Now, as I said, there is mystery surrounding his death. Some people think he may have been murdered or pushed to the brink of suicide, but yeah, little is known about his death. And within 6 weeks of his death, Hohenschwangau and Neuschwanstein Castle both were open to the public as tourist attractions.